Hey, this is Andrew Brown, and we're taking a look at service containers. So service containers are Docker containers that provide a simple and portable way for you to host services that you might need to test or operate your applications in a workflow. You can configure service containers for each job in a workflow. GitHub creates a fresh Docker container for each service configured in the workflow and destroys the service container when the job completes. Steps in a job can communicate with all service containers that are part of the same job. However, you cannot create and use service containers inside a composite action. If your workflow uses Docker container actions, job containers, service containers, then you must use a Linux runner. If you are using GitHub hosted runners, you must use an Ubuntu runner. If you are using a self-hosted runner, you must use a Linux machine as your runner, and Docker must be installed. You can configure jobs in a workflow to run directly on a runner machine or in the Docker container. So if you're running jobs in a container, using Docker with bridge mode is what you'll end up utilizing. If it's on a runner, it'll be host mode. They'll never ask you this on the exam, but it's just practical knowledge. Understand if it's in host mode, you'll have to map the ports. So let's look at an example of a Redis container, which is a service. And notice that this one, we specify the image over here. Notice the container job specifies a specific type of container. So we have the runner, the type of container that it'll run, which is node. Over here, this one, notice there is no specified container. So this is the key difference between being able to tell if something is running in a container or on the host image, because this one has no container and you're mapping a port, and this one you are not mapping a port, but you are specifying the container. Okay, here is a more complex example. So you can specify credentials for your service containers in case you need to authenticate with an image repo. So notice that under here we are providing our credentials. So hopefully that is clear. When running a Postgres server as a service container, it is going to look like this. You can tell that it has a container. It's pretty darn straightforward. If we take a look at what it looks like to connect to a service container, in an additional step here, we are running our client.js. We're providing the envars, and then over here we have our code. So we will definitely run this one as an example so you have practical skills on how to run a service container. But yeah, there you go.